tonight. Jay has some school stuff come up, so Jessica has decided to join us tonight. She's very nervous. So you folks in the chat, be nice. Okay, be nice. Yes, everyone's alive. Thank you, chat. We love you. So yeah, here we go. We're gonna be off to it. So we got some fun stuff planned for tonight. We're gonna talk about some of the Magic the Gathering releases from this last weekend's MagicCon. We're gonna talk about what else do I have on the docket? We're gonna talk about DLCs. We're gonna talk about the election, and we're gonna talk about that cool new Marvel sizzle reel that just dropped. Like, it's pretty hype. I'm pretty happy about it. So, and with that, as always, if you have any questions that you want us to hit at the end of the show, Jessica may have to duck out just a smidge early to put our tiny human to bed. But if you have any questions for the end of the show, throw those in the chat anytime, and we'll try and hit those at the end of the show. Okay. Daredevil Born Again, my beloved. Yes. It's we're gonna hit that sizzle reel in a little bit.
Laura, that's so sad.
Okay, so let's start here. Obviously, DLCs have become a massive part of the video game ecosystem. They're a big thing, sometimes for good, sometimes for ill. But Jessica hit on one earlier today that she was, let's always say, rather upset about. Disney Dreamlight Valley, which has now been out for a couple of years, finally hit up one of their new DLCs. This one is $40.
So listen, it looks cool though. So the problem I'm having is I bought the game. I bought the first pass, and it was like $75 or something. Which, okay, fine, whatever. It's a Disney game, whatever. Happy to pay it. First DLC came out and it was $40. The first DLC came out like maybe a year ago, and now they're coming out with another one that's $40. And like the first one that came out wasn't even that good. Like, I don't know if anybody is. Oh, apparently I'm not.
You're loud now. I got you. You're louder.
Okay. See, now they're all telling you that I'm not.
It takes a second for them to catch up.
So the first one wasn't great. Like, I don't know if anybody's played Disney Dreamlight Valley, so if you have, let me know.
Break it down for them. Like, what is the kind of the baseline of the game? So when it first drops, yeah. What is the game?
So the game's basically Disney Animal Crossing.
Okay.
That's what it is. Like, you have your house, you go around, you farm stuff, you have quests with your villagers, which happen to be Disney characters, and then you can decorate, and, you know, it's fun. They have, like, seasonal stuff. They have, like, kind of like a battle pass, if you will, kind of a situation where you can, like, do stuff to earn Dreamlight that you could buy stuff with. So, I mean, it's fun. If you like cozy games like Animal Crossing or stuff like that, like, it's definitely fun. Yes, Stitch is in the game. Stitch is in the game. So it's super cute. But so the premise of the game is that you have like your main island, and then you unlock different realms that give you different characters and things like that. So the first DLC that came out, instead of adding on to the realms, and so you could just go, you had to like time travel, which was kind of weird. And you still got to unlock more characters, and it was fun, but traveling back and forth was kind of a pain, and I didn't love it. So I actually kind of stopped playing it because it was very tedious. Like, you had to travel between worlds, and it was just a pain. So now that they're coming out with another one, I'm skeptical because I'm like, okay, well, are you going to add a third world, or are you going to expand on the original one? I don't know. And for $40, I'm kind of annoyed. I just bought one for $40. It sucked. Well, in my opinion, it sucked. I didn't love it. Like, my favorite part, I think, about the DLC was that there was capybaras in them, and that was about it.
Okay. So this opens up a thing, and I am of two minds on this particular topic, which is, on one hand, like, you want to see game devs and the people who are working on these games get paid a reasonable amount. For that to happen, they have to charge a reasonable amount for the DLC. That being said, occasionally DLCs really do feel like a money grab, right? It feels like you had this done, you just separated it out so you could charge a little bit more for this one grouping of content. So
there's certain things that they have that they charge like stupid money for, like skins. Like they charge like a lot of money for certain skins.
Yeah. And so
it's kind of nuts.
Right. And so this one's a really, really tough one. Also, I know for a fact that anybody who's licensing from Disney, like the cost that they make, they pay in licensing fees is huge because it's the most recognizable brand in America. That's just, it is what it is. Based on what you're seeing so far, and I've got the page pulled up for the Stitch shop for the new one. Do you think it's gonna be worth $40? And how do you, like, for me it's always been about how many more hours. So like when Cyberpunk released the Phantom Liberty DLC, I went back in and I think it was $30. But I was like, if I get 15 to 20 hours worth of new content out of this, that to me is worth $30, right? It's about $2 an hour. So, you know, I look at it kind of like cheaper than a movie, right? Is it cheaper than a movie? If so, then I'm kind of okay with it. So, I mean, like, is the DLC in and of itself worth, 20 hours worth of content?
So they're showing it with, like, here they have, like, Timon and Pumbaa on there. So there's been 2 different areas where you start, like, where you get Lion King people. So yeah. I'm a little bit sus, as my child would say.
Yeah. It's a I've played it a little bit. Again, if you want something
I love it. I love the idea of it.
If you want something where you can zone out and just chill for a long time and build like a little farm and just hang out, it's a great game. It's really well put together. It's clean. It's not super glitchy.
Well, it's not glitchy on PC. I've heard people who play it on like the Switch, because it is on Switch, PlayStation, and PC. I've heard people who play it on Switch have some glitchy issues.
Yeah. Again, it's this one's a really tough one. For me to, it's a really tough one, right? Again, I don't know if there's 20 hours worth of material out of this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know if I played 20 hours on the last one.
Yeah, and so I think that if you're getting only cosmetic updates, I think if you're only getting minor stuff, I don't think it's worth the $40. Some people in the chat are saying they don't like DLC. They've never seen DLC that was worth the price. Again, I think it's more often than not, I think the DLC is probably not worth the price. With, again, rare exception, again, like Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk 2077 was a really solid piece of DLC. They put a lot into that. It basically completely revamped the entire game and made it much, much better. Yeah, paying for pure cosmetic, that's the Madden thing, right? All the DLC with like the other stuff. DLC should be $1 per hour. I would be careful with that, chat, because the problem, and I think we're actually getting to that point, right? Where you're gonna get to kind of like live content. I mean, that's essentially what WoW was, right? KOTOR. It's, we give you the DLC, it's free, but you're paying us a monthly subscription of $15 a month, and that's really what it is. You're paying for time, and so it's kind of a judgment call. This one's big because it's Disney. Dreamlight's, again, it's been out for a couple of years now.
Yeah, maybe like 3 years. I think 2 years. I think is too short.
Yeah. This one's who said WoW DLC? What world is this? It's less expensive. Yeah. This one's a super hard one because, again, you're right. It is, chat. It's very, very subjective, and I'm honestly not sure what the answer to that question is. But
well, and Disney Dreamlight doesn't even go on sale, like during Steam sales and stuff like that. I haven't seen any, like the first DLC or the original base game go on sale. So it's not even like I could be like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for a Steam sale either.
Ooh, that's a good point. That's a really
Like some
valid
stuff,
point.
like I'll be like, I'll pick it up on the Steam sale or whatever, but not this one.
Yeah, no,
I've never seen their stuff go on sale.
that's a really valid point. Where I think that's something that happens quite a bit, with some of these larger IP properties like Disney Dreamlight Valley. Um,
Well, like there's even like a game right now, like a DLC that like I've been debating on, but it came out because it was so glitchy. The Risk of Rain 2
mm-hmm.
DLC that recently came out. Like me and a bunch of my friends play it and play Risk of Rain 2, not the DLC. But it came out and it was so glitchy that we just decided not to. But for the price, it just didn't seem worth it either. Like I don't even know if I'll pick it up if it does go on sale, because it inevitably will.
Well, and that's the other question you're getting into is, when do you buy it? You know what I mean? Like, do you wait for a Steam sale? Do you wait because of glitches to find out if this tag on DLC is actually working, or did it break the game? You know, that's a huge risk you're taking if you're early adopting a lot of video games, and it's super super tough. So anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments. Chat, let us know what you think about DLCs. Are you a fan of them? Do you think that they're generally a money grab, or do you think most companies are trying to build like real legit value out of it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Okay, we've got a few more viewers now. As I said before, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, throw it in the chats. We'll try and hit that at the end of the show. Old Star Wars game where you build and defend the base. God, early 2000s? I'm not sure if
Alex was preoccupied during that period of time.
I'm not sure. WoW's anniversary event broke part of the game for now. Like ICC raid now has a new bug. Yeah.
I don't know what an ICC raid is, but that sounds like a problem.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of information out of MagicCon for sets that are being released next year, right? And we're gonna talk about I have
thoughts.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Hasbro layoffs, that they just announced again.
Again?
Yeah. So for anybody that's been living under a rock for a while, in case you didn't know, Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, right? The classic toy company has owned them for a very long time, and they are the publishers of Dungeons and Dragons, and they've just released a new version of Dungeons and Dragons, and obviously the big cash cow for them, which is Magic: The Gathering, right? And Magic, if you look at Hasbro's 10Ks, is its big cash cow, right? Like Magic is what keeps Hasbro going. Definitively what keeps them going. And over the last couple of years, their release schedule has been breakneck pace, right? Going
so many cards,
right? So many sets, right? Like every other month, we're getting new stuff, and it's a lot of people are a little frustrated because it's come quick for a lot of this stuff. So MagicCon Vegas happened last weekend. We almost went, but we'd been traveling a little too much for us to really like justify like being able to get away for another weekend. We really did almost go. And the initial reports that I got back on MagicCon Vegas was that the event was extremely well ran, not like the last one they did, which was in Chicago, I want to say. And it was just a mess, the last one they did. This one apparently was run beautifully. Everybody had a really great time. And obviously we're getting close to the end of the year, so they got a bunch of announcements out. And honestly, they're not really letting up on the steam for what's coming out of Magic this next year. Here we go. Magic: The Gathering Foundations releases in 6 to 17 days. That one, so far, I'm seeing a lot of really good stuff about it. This one right here is supposed to build standard out to let you do a lot more stuff. It's also learn to play. They've got a beginner box for people. They've got play boosters. They've got collector boosters. And this one's going to stay standard legal for a long time. Of course, it'll be commander legal. They've got jump starts, which I actually really love.
Jump starts are fun. That's how I started playing Magic.
I might do the pre-release for this one. So this one comes out in 16 days. It's the big one for the end of the year. I imagine there'll be something right around Christmas time, but they haven't officially announced anything. But this is the last major release for the year, is this one, Magic Foundations. And it's going to have a lot of like reprints and stuff that people are looking for. Let's go back to this. So that's this. Then 2 months later, we get Innistrad Remastered, which is the only one I've heard people really excited about, which is obviously we had Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, which is, all the spooky, vampires and werewolves, yay.
And didn't they just come out with a horror set that's all spooky crap?
Yes, Duskmorn. They just came out with a horror set, and they're coming out with another monster set. Then you've got less than a month later, Aether Drift, which is going out. 2 months after...
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one in a second. 2 months after that, you got Aether Drift, then Tarkir Dragonstorm, and then, and there might be a couple people in the chat who are here who are excited for this one. Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy Universes Beyond set is releasing June 13th, 2025. This is going to be a big set. I think it's going to sell really, really well. Edge of Eternities, and then Marvel Spider-Man, which is the full release set for Marvel, is sometime later in the year next year, and then there's another Universes Beyond set. So, Innistrad Remastered.
And name the other Universes Beyond set.
They don't know. They haven't said.
Oh, that's not the spoilers that came out? Okay.
No.
We're gonna talk about that
that's a secret layer.
That's terrible.
So, Aether Drift, they're going back. There's Kaladesh, Amonkhet, they're jumping between planes. Tarkir Dragonstorm, which is going to be big for people. Final Fantasy, obviously. Edge of Eternities. This is going to be space fantasy, aliens, planets, spaceships, and more. The Marvel set for Spider-Man, and then an Unknown Universes Beyond set, which they have not announced what universe it is. Here's where it gets interesting. You'll notice, if you go back, that half of their releases next year are Universe Beyond. They're not Magic. They're not Magic sets. They're Universes Beyond sets. They have 3 next year.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Right? It's a lot of Universes Beyond. And the other reason this became a thing is they said starting with Final Fantasy, Universes Beyond will now be standard legal.
Oh, I didn't realize that the Universes Beyond sets weren't standard.
Nope, they're not standard legal. And so, a lot of people are a little upset about that, right? That they're now standard legal. It's going to be a lot for standard players to keep up with. Simultaneously, Hasbro goes, hey, we're releasing all this stuff and we're laying off more people. This is their 3rd layoff of the year. This one's fewer than 100 employees. Half of them are in Rhode Island. I've seen announcements on Twitter of people from the D&D and Magic teams here in the Seattle area being laid off as well at Wizards of the Coast.
It's that time of the year. Companies are starting to lay people off so that they can make their end of year, end of quarter numbers. It's bullshit, but I'm not surprised, unfortunately.
I'm not shocked. And again, this is their 3rd layoff of the year. I'll be interested to read the 10K.
But didn't they also say that they made like a shit ton of money?
Yes.
Didn't their quarterly come out and it was like dumb money that they made?
Let's look at their last quarterly report. I can actually pull that up really quick. Accept all. Q3 presentation. What did they make? Supplemental financial data. Yeah, here we go. So they're laying off 100 people, and of course, they made $1.28 billion in revenue. Which is a 15%.
And that's Hasbro as a whole, or just that division?
We'll get to that first. That's Hasbro as a whole, right? Operating profit, $302 million. Net earnings, $223 or $1.59 a share, $1.73 adjusted, and then $406 million in EBITDA. They're down for the year about 18% in revenue, but profitability, and you just said this, Jess, profitability is up 28% to $893 million in EBITDA.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, let's see if I can find the. Sometimes we'll break out gaming. Volume mix as reported. They occasionally will release it. They've released inventory. Here we go. Wizards of the Coast and Analog Gaming. 5% revenue decline. Wizards Analog is up 1% in Q3, 2% year
I
over
wonder
year.
if the reason that they're doing so many more Universes is Beyond sets is because they can pull in more people with the like fandoms and stuff like that.
There we go.
Like they're not seeing the revenue from like the basic Magic stuff that people are used to, because it's just like a lot of just reprints and stuff. Versus if they do the Universes Beyond stuff, they're able to get people with new things because of even if it's the same card, it just has a different picture.
Yep. Franchise brands. So we have Wizard stuff right here. Volume mix down 2.8 points, $21. Let's see here. Gross sales. They're not having a great year. And they're blaming it on Lord of the Rings and Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate I buy. Lord of the Rings I call
No, so they're the year to date is lapping higher royalties due to 2023's Lord of the Rings.
Because they had to pay it out. Well, yeah, that's what you fucking get.
Yep. And then the Q3 margin impacted by
what
Baldur's Gate launch in 2023. They didn't have that launch this year, so it's just lower.
Well, right, but like, what do they expect is going to happen when they hit the royalties with Marvel? You want to talk about Lord of the Rings being expensive royalty-wise? Hello.
Here's the updated guidance. Flat to 1% revenue decline.
Okay, so somebody in the chat brought up what I want to talk about. This is interesting, or it was interesting for the moment, but now I need to talk about what happened in the chat because I have so many thoughts.
Yes. Go ahead. Start talking.
Fucking SpongeBob?
Yep.
They're doing SpongeBob magic cards.
Yes. Yep.
What? So, I last week was talking to Alex when they talked about the like Marvel stuff, and I was like, that feels weird. Like, it doesn't feel like it fits with Marvel Magic. And I was like very like weird about it. This is like a whole other level of what the fuck?
Yep. There will be a SpongeBob SquarePants secret lair in 2025. There you go.
I saw the leak that came out too with the cards, and
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yeah. Nope, that's a thing. That's a thing.
I'm not frequently speechless, as many people in the chat can attest. But what in the actual shit?
I'll be honest. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say. Combine this with 3 Universe Beyond sets being released next year. I would.
The only way it can get worse is if it was South Park.
There you go. Leave down in the comments if you're watching this video later. Leave down in the comments or chat, jump in there. We know what 2 of the Universes Beyonds are, right? It's Final Fantasy and Marvel. We know that, right? That's been announced. What IP are they using for the 3rd Universes Beyond set? Do we want to speculate for
Star Wars? Right.
Do we want to speculate?
Star Wars.
Star Wars just released a new TCG, and so if they hadn't released a new TCG, I would be tempted to agree with you.
I'm calling Star Wars.
Chat, throw it in there. Let's get some stuff. What is this 3rd Universes Beyond set going to do? God, what could it be? They've done Lord of the Rings. They could do a redux on Warhammer 40K. They didn't
They've
really
done Transformers.
touch that. They've done they've mixed. Transformers has never been a full set release. It was mixed into Brothers War.
Doctor Who.
They've done Doctor Who. I don't think
Jurassic
they're going to go back
Park.
to that well.
Jurassic Park was mixed
in with Ixalan. Okay.
But still.
I'm really curious what could it be?
Wars.
I don't.
There's been rumors about them doing Star Wars for like forever. I think it's Star Wars. And I think they had the rights and they had the plans before the Star Wars TCG was a thing.
Somebody in the chat saying it'd be cool if they went back to Warhammer. Again, I think that there's room in the IP to do it. I really do. But no, not my Transformers. Nothing second. They put it in Brothers War. Chat. It was there, right? You can get you can get bloody Optimus Prime, right?
It wasn't ridiculous. Like
no, it wasn't completely. It wasn't completely bonkers. But for example, right? There's the Optimus Prime card, right? It's a secret lair. He's Darksteel Colossus, right? He's insane. There was a bunch of Transformers cards in. There you go. Here, let's bring up Megatron real quick. There's Megatron. Okay. Skyrim Elder Scrolls. They did Fallout. That's right.
They did do Fallout.
Why not do Elder Scrolls? I don't know if the IP is popular enough as a pop culture thing. That's tough. I think it would fit. I think Elder Scrolls Skyrim would fit. Right? Who's the producer on that? Who made Elder Scrolls?
I don't know. I
Bethesda.
feel like everybody I know
and it's Bethesda. So Fallout, yeah. I need Skyrim grab as a card. That's a tough one. All right, come on, throw some more ideas out there. What could it be? What could it be? What could they mix in with Magic that they haven't done? Because they just did Assassin's Creed. They did Fallout this year. They did Warhammer last year. They did Doctor Who in the last couple of years. They've done Lord of the Rings. They've done.
I was talking to somebody at work recently, and we were talking about like different ones where it would be ridiculous if they did it, but like just so ridiculous that it could happen. And one of the ones that they came out with was Harry Potter, and I was like,
"Oh crap! That might be it."
I don't think so.
That might be it.
Why? Like, you for real think it could be? I thought it was ridiculous.
So there's three reasons why I think it could be. Again, fits in the general vibe of Magic. Better than some of the Universe Beyond sets that they've done, like Marvel, right? Because at least in Harry Potter, it's magic, right?
That's true.
It's a wide enough IP where you could probably get 4 commander decks out of it and a set of collector boosters. You would also pull in all the stupid Potterheads, right? Like, because the Potterheads will go out and buy Potterhead stuff, right? Okay? Potterheads are like Disney adults, man. They're going to go find it. They're going to buy it, right? That's a thing. Harry Potter, ooh. Would they do it despite all the J.K. Rowling stuff?
See, that's why I don't think they would.
I think they would. The thing is I think they would. Warner Brothers is still producing that new Harry Potter show. I think they would.
Are they? I thought they couldn't get anybody to sign on for it.
They've got some stuff. They're still working on it. It's in development.
I mean, shows can stay in development for ages and never happen because chaos.
Yep. Okay. Harry Potter. That might be it.
I still think it's Star Wars, but we were talking about it at work and they said Harry Potter.
Somebody else threw in, why not do Family Guy and Simpsons? I could see them doing it as a secret lair. I don't think you can, there's not enough stuff to do it as a full drop. Anything that's going to have even an Assassin's Creed level drop or a Warhammer level drop has got to have enough content kind of built in, right?
You can't say The Simpsons doesn't have enough content after how many years they were
But
on
it's a lot of
there?
repeated stuff. It's repeated. It's not broad content. It's very narrow content within their character sets and who they do and the stories that they do. I don't think it's broad enough to do a full drop. From just a lore perspective,
Jesus, 35? That was way more than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's been on for a long since '89. Yeah. All right, come on, chat, help us out here. What else? Who else could it be? Oh my. Let's hang on a second.
I'm looking around my office at all.
You're like what nerd shit do I have in here? Highest grossing media franchises. Let's see here. It's not going to be Pokemon. It's not going to be a straight Disney one because of Lorcana.
No, I just thought of, it's not going to be this, but I just thought of a really cool secret layer, since they do stuff with Disney, obviously, because of Marvel. You know what a really cool secret layer would be, and I feel like it would be fitting?
What?
Haunted Mansion.
That could be interesting.
Wizard of Oz would be cool.
Wizard of Oz could be done, and it's just obscure enough with all the other Oz books where I think you could do it. Another one I know
it's coming out, so they could fold that all in.
Yeah. Warcraft is a big enough franchise to do it. Star Trek is a big enough franchise to do one.
Still saying Star Wars.
I don't think it's going to be DC because they're releasing Marvel next year, and I don't think they'll back-to-back those, even if they have a deal.
Well, we know that the DC one won't perform like the Marvel one.
Oh, hitting them hard.
I'm just saying.
Geez, that's... I'm trying to look. Going through, like, most expensive franchises right now. Yeah. Harry Potter might be at the top of my list as far as what I
bet on it.
think they could do. Identico doesn't have a big enough IP, and we're definitely not popular enough, sadly, to get the attention of Magic. Mario? Star Trek. Star Trek is big enough. Yeah, and you're doing a space... Now, the only thing that stops me is they're doing a space fantasy set next year. So that's the only thing, unless they're going to tie it in somehow. Zelda's big enough. Mario's probably big enough.
I would totally buy Zelda. Hell yeah.
Zelda would be an interesting one. I just don't know if Nintendo would make that deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they would make that deal.
I would definitely buy Zelda.
Zelda could work, but we know it's not happening. Again, I think Harry Potter is probably the one that I think it's going to be. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, that's really tough. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't Nintendo make that deal? Nintendo is notorious, and I mean notorious, about not licensing out their characters. They don't like it.
They have a freaking theme park.
Yeah. Under
and
the brand.
Movie.
Yeah, under the people that made the movie. And keep in mind, that's the first time they've really licensed them out in almost 2 decades. Right? So, yeah.
See, more is on my side. They're doing Star Wars. They just don't have a release date yet. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the untold one.
Think
is Star
CDI.
Wars.
Chad, tell me what CDI. I don't know what that is. You could do a Dune one. That would be really cool. Like, do a Dune set.
Is there another Dune movie coming out?
He's making it right now. 3rd one.
That might be fun to do, like, in conjunction.
So, yeah, that's really tough. Well, let us know down in the comments down below what you think it could be that they're gonna release next. And so, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year. And Hasbro, stop laying off people. Like, you don't need to. You fucking pricks. Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below. All right. Again, for those that have just joined us, please, if you have any questions you want us to hit at the end of the show, go ahead and leave those in the chat. Jess may have to jump out early, but I will address them toward the end. So if you've seen any news articles or releases and stuff that y'all guys would like to talk about towards the end of the show, go ahead and drop it in the chat. All right. We're going to go to kind of our, like, less fun one. So, next Tuesday, there's a thing happening in our country. There's an election. Yes. So first off, our PSA from here at good old Eric Coach Show is vote. No matter who you vote for, vote. Okay? Even if you don't like the presidential candidates, just hold up that voters pamphlet again, right? Go ahead and remember, there's like ballot initiatives about taxes and things like that. There's all sorts of stuff for you to vote for in this upcoming election. So again, even if you were like our friend Phil and write Cthulhu in for president, write SpongeBob in for president. He wrote in Cthulhu. He always does, right? You can write in whoever you want for president, but vote on the other stuff because your representatives, school boards, sheriff, judges, like that shit fucking matters, okay? Go look up your voters pamphlet. They send them to you in the mail. Go vote. All right.
Also, if anybody knows us personally and they didn't get one or they want one, they can borrow mine if they need it.
There you go. So, yeah, next week is the election. So, leave down in the comments first and also jump in here in the chat. If you want us to do a little bit of election coverage on election day, let me know. Shoot it into our Discord, which, by the way, if you haven't joined our Discord,
I'm going to be too hammered for
okay.
that. I can't.
Oh, I may end up having to do it solo, like flying here in the studio. But if you'd like us to do some election coverage, I will do a Wednesday show. I'm not sure what the format of it's going to be to see what it's going to be like. But we will do a Wednesday show kind of talking about. Let's talk about what's going on so far. You want to see some really cool statistics? I will show you some really cool statistics. Check this out. So far in this election, 56,767,000 people have voted, which is pretty cool, right? This is for mail-in and early in-person voting around the country. So, for example, in the state of Washington, right, 1.754 million ballots have been cast and received by the state of Washington. We are an all mail-in state. For those of you watching this YouTube video later about that, Washington is one of the very few states that does all mail-in voting, which, you know, actually drives our turnout up generally.
So here's the problem, though, really quick. So it's 1 point however many ballots have been returned in Washington state?
Almost 1.8.
Okay. The census puts Washington state at 8 million people.
Yeah, but that's just the early. Again, we still got a week to go.
I'm just saying, like, so people who are like, oh, blah, 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 might vote, like 1 million people, and we do have time, so people have returned them. But, like, that 7 million people have yet to return their ballot, or it has yet to be counted.
That's not, there's 8 million people in the state. Those aren't all adults / people who can't vote. Let's talk.
Call it 4 million.
Which is funny because, like, Washington's at 1.7. Look up the population of Pennsylvania. Right? Because they've only cast 1.5 million votes in Pennsylvania, and that's a critical state right there. Georgia is at 3.4 million. Good work, Georgia.
Is that mail-in? Oh, no, that's early person. Oh,
that's mail-in and early. That's total ballots cast so far. Total ballots cast so far was 56 million, which means we're about a third of the way to where we were in 2020.
But some will say, and I will say,
approximately,
this election is much more critical than 2020.
So I think turnout's going to be lower. I had initially thought about doing kind of my last minute predictions. And for those that know me well, it is absolutely one of those things that I pay very close attention to, right? I'm a politics junkie. I love politics. I love entertainment, but I love politics too. I was going to make some predictions. I can't now. Unfortunately, and a lot of people have talked about this, the data is just too muddled. Nobody knows. Nobody, right? And I'll give you some examples. So if you look at the overall votes, it's looking like it's tied across the board, right? But when you drill into precinct or congressional district polling, it doesn't match, right? On the same poll, right? They're like, wait a minute, why is, this happening here when this is happening here? Give an example. It is tied nationally in most polls, right? There was a poll that was done just before the 2020 elections, considered extremely accurate. It comes out of Kansas, right? And they nailed the vote in 2020. They were within half a point, right? They were like, yep, Trump's going to win it by 14, right? And he did. He won it by 14.5% in 2020. Here's the weird thing. They just released their poll for 2024. They've got Trump up by 5 in Kansas. 5. 7, sorry. Right? This is weird. Again, these guys were spot dead. Their stuff was perfect in 2020. Let's say they're right again. There's no way it's tied. There's no way. There's no way he lost 7 points in Kansas and it's tied nationally. It's just, there's no stinking way. The other thing that's throwing stuff off, so be very careful when you look at social media. Look at data, right? So in Pennsylvania, which is a key state, right? Registered Democrats, 58% of the total, 1.5 million. Registered Republicans, 32. But then you got this number right here, 10%, right? 10% are not registered with the party. And you don't know which way those are going to break, right? And 10% is a lot of the vote.
Interesting. So if they're not registered with a party, they're not showing.
They don't show which.
Interesting.
So now keep in mind, in the 2020 election, for example, Biden won 97% of Democrats, but 3% of registered Democrats voted for Trump. In the 2020 election, Trump won 95% of registered Republicans, 5% of registered Republicans voted for Biden, right? There is some crossover from registration to actual vote, right? The data is just too muddled. And also, the problem with comparing turnout right now to 2020 is 2020 had a much bigger, earlier vote share because it was COVID. And a bunch of states implemented deeper early vote by mail regulations during COVID than they did right now. Again, I was going to come on here tonight and be like, yep, this is what I think is going to happen. Usually you could
want to talk about predictions because it stresses me out.
Usually you could start to get some idea based on the data, right? Even going into 2020, the polls were wrong. They were off by 4 points. But the overall result matched what the polls showed before the election. Before the election in 2020, the polls said Biden's going to win, right? Like he's got it, right? Now, it was a lot closer than we thought it was going to be, but it's still, at the end of the day, the result was the same, essentially. The biggest surprise was Georgia flipping to blue, right? And it did, narrowly, very narrowly, but it did. Again, the data's just all over the map. Nate Silver pointed it out. All the polls seem to be doing this thing calling herding, right? Where so many of the polls are so close together to each other that it's unnatural. They shouldn't be. If they're all using different methodology, and each pollster uses different methodology for doing stuff, they shouldn't all be this close, right? But they are, all of them. And so all the polls are kind of hurting in certain directions, and it's weird. Do I think the Brian Haywood initiatives in Washington will pass? Because of how they're worded, they might. I doubt it, but they might. And for those that don't know, there's a bunch of tax repeal initiatives that made it onto the ballot in Washington State. Washington State's a heavy ballot initiative state. You get a certain number of signatures, boom, law changes.
Brian Haywood.
He's an activist guy. He's an anti-tax activist, Republican. I don't know. I might
think, so here's my statement in terms of like you're talking about like how they're written. I hate the way and the fact that they're allowed to write their initiatives like vote yes on blah 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 or vote no on blah 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 and make it so convoluted and confusing because most people are not going to do the due diligence to like look into it being like what the hell does this mean or like understand fully.
for sure.
So it feels like this just politics already feels slimy. It just adds the slime factor to it and it pisses me off.
Anyway, I said my plan was to go on here and do some predictions and stuff like that. I can't. It's too weird and up in the air, and I don't know which way it's going to go. So, take that for what it's worth. But if you want to leave your predictions about the election down in the comments below, go ahead. Let us know what you think. And yeah, I'm curious what everybody's thought process on that is. All right, let's move on to something more fun. Jess, did you have a chance to watch that video before?
No.
See, I sent it to you and you didn't do it, but that's okay. We're gonna let you guys.
I watched 30 seconds of it.
Okay, so first off, Disney came out with a really marvelous sizzle reel today. First off, they announced Deadpool and Wolverine's coming to streaming November 12th. November 12th, which is awesome. And so for those of you that didn't get to catch it at the theater, hang on, I'm trying to check something. For those that didn't get to watch it at the theater, you can watch it on Disney Plus for free in like 13 days, which is awesome. Also, Ryan Reynolds tweeted something that got everybody wondering, and I just don't know if they just have not announced it yet. Right? And I'm going to show everybody. Where did it go?
Are you sure he didn't put it on Threads?
He might have put it on Instagram.
Threads.
Oh, wow. They sold their stake in Wrexham. Anyway. There was one that there's a rumor that he's coming out with a Deadpool Christmas special this year. There was a picture he posted of him and the woman who plays Blind Owl, like on a set. Right? Right? And everyone's like, ooh, are we getting a Deadpool Christmas, like a surprise Deadpool Christmas special? By the way, I'm here for it. But for those of you that missed the thing, right? Check out this sizzle reel. This thing is wonderful.
To offer you an opportunity.
Right?
Oh, I smell what you're stepping in.
This is their look ahead for Disney Plus. And it looks really good.
It's been some time, hasn't it? You've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
I wonder if your darker half would agree.
I love Vincent D'Onofrio.
Exactly what kind of a lawyer are you?
A really good one.
It's a shame that I just like.
I want to build something undeniable.
Anyone who's ever accomplished
this looks
anything
dope.
iconic in life.
Yeah.
Is that Anthony Ramos?
Yes, it is. Yep, fresh from Transformers. Some more What If?
The battle they will sing about for ages.
Didn't even know this was a thing either.
You can slate whenever you're ready.
My
Simon
comic book
Williams.
repertoire
waiting
is
for Wonder
very
Man.
slim.
Wonder Man!
Born to play this character.
And we both have a lot riding on this. You better not mess this up.
I know.
I am ready.
I am Marvel Jesus.
We have a long road ahead of us. Much to do.
Oh my God!
So, Ironheart is a series. If you all recall, they introduced Ironheart during Black Panther 2. I love Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. He was born to play that role. I, too, like the chat said, I'm looking very much forward to Deadpool, the Deadpool series, not Deadpool 2, Daredevil. The Daredevil series on Netflix, and the fact that they're making this a continuation of the Netflix series is great. Looks like Marvel finally figured it out. They had a rough time there for a couple of years trying to get their crap together. Jess, is there anything in that slate that looks... I think you said Ironheart?
Ironheart looks cool. Yeah. I'm curious on how that one's going to go.
It does,
especially now that if it's a series, because I've really liked Disney Plus series that they've done. Like I really like Agatha All Along. I really liked the one that I can't recall the name of it now.
WandaVision?
WandaVision was good. No, but I'm talking about the deaf.
Oh, Echo.
Yes, I really, really liked Echo. I really like the series. But also part of it is I don't sit still well for movies. Like going to a movie theater is like not my favorite thing because it's loud and there's people. So I like series, and so I think they've been really doing really well with their series. So I'm really excited for it.
I'll say this: I want to watch this scene, so bad. Like I want to see this scene. I want to see Kingpin and Daredevil sitting at that table, and I want to know what they're talking about. Like I want this so bad. Yeah. Let's chat about Agatha really quick. Spoiler free on Agatha. We are most of the way through the series. I think we're on episode 5.
We have 2 episodes left.
And the interesting thing is actually tonight, ba-dum, for those of you that are following along with Agatha all along, oftentimes Disney will release 2 episodes at the beginning of a series, right? This time they're doing the opposite. They're dropping the last 2 episodes tonight simultaneously.
Oh, so then we're 4 episodes behind.
We will be 4 episodes behind, but tonight they're dropping the last 2. So I have to think that there is a story continuity reason, right? Why they want to drop both of the last 2 episodes of Agatha there. I've seen some interesting predictions, like some people are like, Agatha's gonna die, Agatha's not gonna die, da-da-da-da-da, we got some good reveals. I'm really, really curious how they're going to end this series. But overall, you say, is this probably the best one you've seen in a while?
I don't know. I really, really liked Echo.
You've been having a hard time finishing them. Like we
started Echo. Like Echo, I really liked Echo. We finished it. I watched the whole thing.
You couldn't finish She-Hulk.
Okay, that was just because the CGI was horrific.
I don't think you finished Moon Knight. You didn't finish Moon Knight.
I didn't finish Moon Knight. I didn't finish Daredevil.
Daredevil hasn't come out yet.
No, but all of the Daredevils that have been out.
Yeah, we watched all of those back when they were just Netflix shows.
I watched the first season. I never watched any of the rest.
Yes, you did, because we watched it because it went Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all Luke Cage, all that stuff, and then we watched Defenders. I liked Moon Knight too. I really liked Moon Knight. I think it got kind of a bad rap.
But yeah, I really like Agatha. I find myself wanting to watch it and being ooh, one more episode. Whereas some of them I was ugh. You know?
Yeah, I can understand that. Hey, chat, keep it up. We got a little thingy from Restreamio about our stuff. I'm a sucker for Egyptian mythology. Yeah, and again, I really loved Moon Knight. Agatha has been a nice breath of fresh air. I really want him to stick the landing.
I also really like the song. It's a little earworm in my brain that I'll find myself just bopping around to it.
Yeah. I'm basically, I think their whole slate's good. I'm glad Deadpool and Wolverine is coming out soon. I'm sure I will watch it a couple of times once it hits streaming in 13 days. I saw it twice in theaters, once by myself, then once with the family. I took Jordan. We took Jordan to see it with one of her friends. She absolutely adored it. I'm sure she'll want to watch it again.
She really only cared about Dogpool, so
She still had a
I'm
really good
pretty
time
sure
with
that
the
will
movie.
continue.
Yeah. He's like, Dogpool, you're so cute. I'm
Mhm.
trying to think of what else is in this thingy. What If is good. This one's going to be, this is the one that I'm really curious what it's going to be. So, for those that don't know, this is going to be a in MCU prequel cartoon, right? But when we were first introduced to Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, he was already Spider-Man, right? It had been for some time before Tony came to get him to go fight in the Civil War against Cap and all them. This is, and if I don't, I'm like 90% sure Tom Holland is doing it. But this is basically a prequel series that's going to explain the time until he becomes Spider, like till he gets picked up by Tony, right? Hugh Dancy. I don't know who's playing it. I'm looking. I thought it was gonna be. No, that's not it. I thought it was gonna be, what's his name, Tom Holland, but I'm not sure. That is the ugliest dog in existence. So this one I am curious about. I think it's got the potential to be good. I like the animation style. Right, very comic booky. I think it's really got potential. Again, yeah, this Ironheart teaser is solid. Look at that armor. That looks awesome. That just looks really, really cool. This one's been in development for a long time. I think they had to go back and kind of like rework it. Yeah, I'm really curious about this one. Yeah, let us know which ones you're looking forward to. We get a couple of movies next year. We're gonna get some good stuff. We get Fantastic Four next year. It looks like Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe may have come back. Maybe we're in a better place. The only one that's not on that I'm waiting to see some teaser stuff for is Vision Quest. So let's wait to see what's going on there.
Vision Quest.
Yeah, this could be the White Vision from WandaVision. Like he's gonna go do stuff. I don't know. Nobody knows. But it's Paul Bettany, and I love Paul Bettany. And you can stick Paul Bettany in anything, and I will watch it. Right? From A Knight's Tale to Marvel stuff, it's Paul Bettany. Just more Paul Bettany. All right? Like we're
He's
just
like your David Tennant.
not like
I'll
kinda.
watch David Tennant in anything.
Kinda. All right. Let us know what you think down in the comments. What are you looking forward to out of this next slate of Disney Plus shows? I think everybody's really hyped for Daredevil, but is there anything else that looks really good to you? All right. Again, chat. Got a few more people in here. If you have any questions, if you saw any news articles or anything like that that you want us to chat about at the end of the show, we're gonna do that. I think because I think we've actually gotten through all of our pre-planned topics in an hour.
Okay, I have two things. It's just video games, but I have some things I want to talk about because I'm curious about other people's experience if they've played them. / I want to talk about how you've been liking one of the games that I got you into.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I'll start with the one that you haven't played yet. I didn't know everybody like rags on Valve because it takes them like 8,000 years to come out with a video game. But has anybody started playing their new game, Deadlock? Like, let me know in the chat because I'm not a MOBA player. I've never really been a MOBA player, but I freaking love Deadlock. I don't know what it is, but I really like it. I really like the mechanics. I really like that you can choose your builds and you can choose like just different ones. I like the characters. And I'm really excited to see what happens with it because it's so new and it's still technically in like early release. I love it. Have you heard anything about it, Alex?
About which one?
Deadlock, the Valve game.
I have not.
Really?
I have not heard much about it.
So my friends and I have been playing it, specifically my friend Ace. He's super into it, but I really, really like Deadlock. So I'd be curious what other people's
It's an
thoughts
invite.
are.
Apparently, it's still in invite only stage.
Well, I have an invite because essentially, if you have, so that's the other thing. If anybody wants an invite, if you have it, like if you're in, you can invite people. So
All right.
I like it. I really like it.
Okay. What else? What are the
Um,
ones we want to chat about? Did you want to chat about
Okay.
specifically?
So I've been playing for the last 2.5 seasons so far, a new game, and it's a free to play game. They do have skins and things like that, so that's how they like make up their money. And there's a lot of in-game currency.
Mm-hmm.
But the game that I've really been really liking is Once Human,
Yes.
and it has kind
You
of
have
a
played the shit out of this
Fallout-y
for the last
vibe.
couple seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, 2.5. So, and when I say seasons too, like the seasons are 6 weeks long and they have different things that happen throughout them, but it has Fallout vibes to it. And
Plus Cthulhu.
but also kind of Valheim.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I really, really been enjoying it. You can uh build a house, build a farm, build all these things. You can capture animals and breed them. Once Human, it's on PC.
It's on PC. It's right now.
It's kind of like post-apocalyptic ish.
Yeah, and so
Like something happened.
I'm curious how long they're gonna keep with these like 6-week seasonal wipes, where they're just like, and season over, bye, start over.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing too, is because you could start you start from zero every 6-week season, which is frustrating. And but so the first 2 seasons were it was like the basic map of so it was like you essentially replayed everything. Whereas this last one is like there's a whole new map available and new quest lines and stuff like that to explore, new animals, new crafting things, new recipes, new whatever. So I'm curious too, because at some point, right, like you can only expand it so much. But I've really, really been liking it.
So I'm gonna be honest. For me, the jury is still out. Like, it is still like I'm gonna keep playing it, right? I think it plays pretty clean. I don't think the tutorials are strong enough to like really understand where you need to like focus, especially in the early game. I don't think it's great. The journeys.
I think part of it is too is I started you on the I didn't realize how different the second area was gonna be. So
the journeys are not. The journeys help. Like the journeys, which is what they call them, and they're like knock off, chop off these, not like knock out these like checklist of stuff to do, which is designed to kind of help you learn how to play the game. I'm not sure. For me, the jury's still out on Once Human. I'm not 100% on it yet. So
I really like it, but I also really like those type of games where I can just run around and craft, or I can go do quests. Like I can go run around, pick food for my animals, or plant food, or brew beer, or brew cheese. Some of the things that you can do. So there's a lot of different stuff that you can do.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about Star Wars Outlaws in the chat. Yes, I own it. I have the gold edition. Jess got it for me. I'm waiting for the next patch, and then I'm probably gonna start over. You
were running into a thing with one of the lock mechanisms that was really frustrating.
So
wasn't it?
I don't love the lock picking mechanic at all, right? Because it's a rhythm game, and I'm annoyed at that.
He doesn't have rhythm, is what he's saying.
So, again, Star Wars Outlaws, I'm still kind of in a jury still out. I love open world Star Wars concept. I like Ubisoft games. What I would say, so my initial review on Star Wars Outlaws would be, if you like Ubisoft games, you'll probably like this. It's very Ubisoft. The problem with that, here's the issue, and this is why I want to let it patch one more time and then start over. Because I heard that they fixed part of it. Ubisoft has always had an issue with gunplay, right? They've always had an issue with shooting mechanics in their games, except for Rainbow Six. It's the only one where they know how to do it. Everything else, right? Whether it's Watch Dogs 2, like all this other stuff, it's like there's like a little beeping thing on the rhythm that goes beep, 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 and you gotta like hit buttons.
That's not what he's making fun of, Alex.
Rhythm method, huh? It's annoying. The gunplay is not super great. I'm hoping that they fix that with the patch. I was dying a shit ton because your character's not really designed. And again, much like a Ubisoft game, it's like, okay, here's a bunch of enemies in this area and I got to sneak in and get it. But the stealth isn't Assassin's Creed stealth because it's not Assassin's Creed. You're not supposed to be like that guy. But the gunplay is not good.
He would just be ready to be like, I died. I died.
It is not similar to Fallen Order and Survivor. It's a completely different developer, right? So EA used to have the exclusive license for all the Star Wars games, and I think Disney got pissed at them because they were kind of screwing stuff up for a long time. It is not. Fallen Order and Survivor, you're a Jedi. And they're much more linear, right? They've got levels. So no, it is not similar to Fallen Order and Survivor. I need to I need to dive back into it, but again, I was waiting for them to patch it. So for me, Outlaws is still kind of on the jury's out as far as my final review goes. I just don't know. I really don't. It's tough for me to say. I don't know. So take that for what it's worth. When they've done a few patches, and again, I think they've done it. I just haven't gone back to look at it recently. Yeah, the NPC's pathing was a little wonky. Again, I got to go back and look at it again. I know they have patched it. I'm saying I haven't gone back since the patch because I've been playing a couple other things and I've just been busy with other stuff, so I haven't been diving. Outlaws is one of those games, and this is just my style of play. Like, I've got to dive in and just stay with it until I'm done. If you want something cheap that's good and doesn't require a whole lot of reflex stuff, that's very MCU adjacent. It was like $9 on Steam, like $9.99. Where do you? I want to go see who's selling it for what right now. It was like $10 on Steam. Hang on, I'm checking for you, and I'll bring it up. This one is actually, it kind of flew under the radar, and a lot of people, I think it kind of got a bad rap initially. Oh no, it went back up. You might be able to find it on sale. Oh, maybe it was EA had it on sale. Somebody had it on sale recently. But it's this one. And it's, nope, wrong one. Not that one. This one. It's Marvel Midnight Suns. So it's deck building. You build hands basically for each of the characters. It's very MCU adjacent. It's not in the MCU, but you'll recognize some of the stuff that they've kind of borrowed from the MCU. I got it on sale. It dropped. Somebody dropped it down to like $12 for the Legendary Edition. And the Legendary Edition has all the cool DLCs. So I have Deadpool. I have Storm. I've got a bunch of freaking characters beyond this initial run of characters, but it's a strategy RPG where you can move around and use you build hands for each of your players, and it's a deck builder, and it's actually surprisingly fun. So, just trying to see who had it on sale. Somebody had it on sale recently, and like I said, I bought it for like $20, if that. Legendary Edition's $25. Yeah, I mean, you can get it for pretty cheap. So, if you're looking for something like that, have fun. That's kind of my most recent recommendation. It kind of flew under my radar for a while. Okay, last time, calling for chat questions. I'm going to answer a couple of these. Somebody asked about the Vancouver ballot box burning. So for those that missed it, somebody lit some ballot boxes on fire in Vancouver and in Portland. There's a picture. Police are saying the person knew they have a wealth of experience in metal fabrication and welding based on the devices that they used to blow up the ballot box or to burn the ballot boxes. They're looking for a white guy between 30 and 40 who was balding and with short hair.
I'm going to go put our tiny humans to bed,
do that.
everybody. So thank you for joining me. Maybe I'll return again. I don't know.
Yes.
We'll see.
So supposedly somebody put Free Palestine and Free Gaza on one of the devices. I don't know if it's a false flag, nor do I know if it's somebody who's actually doing it for that reason. They still have not caught the guy yet. So they have a suspect description. 488 ballots were damaged. 345 voters had been contacted, and they're going to mail ballots out to people that they've identified whose ballots were destroyed so they can vote again. Because as we talked about earlier, Washington's an all vote by mail state. Age of Mythology remake. No, I have not played that. I honestly do not know anything about it. Here's some stuff on Once Human. Again, it's kind of got a Cthulhu-esque. Monsters! Yay! Yeah. That's kind of it there. Unless he does it again, they won't get it. Probably not. Like, if he's smart, he'll stop now. Because they're looking. Also, don't mess with the postal inspector or federal agents. They will murk you. They do not care. So, again, if anybody's got anything else, if not, we'll probably call it a night here in a couple of minutes. I'll let chat catch up with me. This is also why I always have a guest host. It's hard to talk to yourself for like 2 hours. Yeah. Starfield opinions. I'll be honest, I was extremely disappointed with Starfield. I have it. I know that they've done some patching, and Phil told me that they've done some patching and some other stuff since the game came out, like adding a mini-map, which, I was very, very disappointed with it when it relaunched. I was their launch day for it. I was like, yeah, Bethesda. I love Fallout stuff. I was like, I can build a base and I can build a ship, you know, and then there was no mini. I was like, I'm fucking lost. It just taking me forever, and I just was really upset with it. So it's all on my list. Space Marine 2, it's on my list to play. I don't know. We did talk about the Game Freak leaks. There's not a lot to say about them yet. Yeah, I haven't played Space Marine 2 yet. I haven't played it yet. So I have a hard time with the Space Marine games. I actually wonder if it's gone on sale yet. Probably not. Shopping. Let's see, what can I get it for? Ultimate Edition 85. Yeah, I have not had a chance to sit down and watch it or sit down and play it. It's on my list. Phil, I have from friends who really love it. The Space Marine game didn't really it didn't drive me last time. So there's some stuff about the story that I'm mildly curious about. Yeah, stuff I'm madly curious about. The other one that I was looking at was the new Dragon Age, and I know I need to sit down and probably play that too. I've heard reasonably good things about the new Dragon Age, so hopefully that's good. Yeah, hopefully it's good. I would really love to see like I've been waiting to see a really good Dragon Age. So, we'll probably talk about that for a minute. For you, Mojav. Come on, stupid computer. I don't think they ever figured out who did the Game Freak leaks. For what it's worth. Oh wait, there's another one. There is an update. Hang on one second. I might have an update for you, Mojev. MGM Plus. MGM Plus is a streaming service. Oh, that's right. I forgot they were a streaming service because no one uses it. The Earth Abides. I have not read that. What is that? I'm just take a look at that. I'm always looking for new stuff. Like I'm in the middle of rereading some stuff right now, just because. Fallen to Deadly Disease post-apocalypse novel. No. I have not read this, and it does not look like it's really. Source goes for that. Unreleased Pokemon stuff. Pokemon Legends ZA. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about the Game Freaks leaks. 39, 40. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It was published in 1949. No, I haven't had a chance to read it. So I might have to take a look at it. I've got so much stuff to catch up on, like Penguin. Have you guys been watching Penguin? That's one that I really want to catch up on. So I got to finish up on Agatha. I got to do Penguin, and we'll do that. Anyway, thanks for joining us next week. Keep your eyes on the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. The links are places. Yay! We're again working on more RSS feeds, things like that. So stick around, stay in the Discord, chat with people. And like I said, more to come. So, Jay was off this week. He leaves out of the country next week, so I'm going to start pulling in guest hosts of a variety of types for the next couple of weeks. But again, next week, expect some election coverage and possibly some fun entertainment news to cleanse the palate because, we need to do other things besides just the fucking election so that we don't all get depressed. With that being said, stay healthy, drink water, be kind to each other, try to, tamp the anxiety down. We're all feeling it right now. It's a very anxious time for a lot of people. So go out of your way to be polite to people. Please and thank you. Hold the door open for folks. Try and tamp that anxiety down. With that, I will talk to you all later. Have a wonderful night.